bombarded by U.S. and coalition planes, certain areas of Syria, and Israeli planes. But Syria has a defense pact with Russia. Would America allow Russia to bomb the UK without a military response? This is what I'm saying. The softness of some of these leaders at times causes a lot of damage that they will be forced to clean up later after the loss of land, lives, and material. A lot of this stuff can be avoided or be blunted if they implement the policies that they sign. See, I don't give anybody a free pass on this. So we go back to Israel. They assassinated 2 officials from the IRGC. They go and send a drone in the Lebanon, destroy a neighborhood, kill kids, kill two Lebanese Hezbollah fighters, I believe. No, a dozen. They killed Hamas, one of Hamas's leaders. They come back, they bomb again, they just bomb Syria again, and guess what happens? While Iran is mourning the loss of 2 of its officers, some people say 1, but I read that there were 2 officers killed. And I read it not only on a Western site, but I read it in an Iranian site. One may have not been of the same rank, but they were still officers nonetheless, okay? One was just higher up and one was more looked out as more influential. Just like when Soleimani was killed, he wasn't the only officer killed, but he was the main one, and everybody was focused on him because he was the beloved one. And also, had they did that, Soleimani wouldn't have been killed. He wouldn't be killed right now. Probably. Had they did what I was just talking to you about. So now, as they're mourning the loss of their soldiers, bombs explode. Who do you think that is? Come on. Who do you think that is? And it happens after the United States. Oh, I told you guys. I told you guys. When all of the alternative media sites were saying that it looks like America is trying to de-escalate because there's a fight between the neoliberals and the neocons, and some people are saying that we should bomb Iran right now, and some were saying we want. But that's been going on forever. That was a head fake that was being done. The redeployment, because they could easily turn it around. That was a head fake. So that they would not be blamed for the operations that they had already put underway. The same as when the British went into Crimea and tried to blow up that bridge. The Russians knew who did it. You don't think the Iranians know who did it? I get whispers in my ear from a couple of people who are telling me who did it. Okay? So now we look at the situation as it deteriorates. And it says, the article says this: Israel is killing us without mercy. As the fighting in Gaza continues, civilians are starting to lose hope amid a humanitarian catastrophe. All right. I want you to listen to something. All right. Let's go to something real quick. According to the dictionary, Google's dictionary, the word catastrophe is a noun. It says an event causing great and often sudden damage or suffering, a disaster. Listen to what it says right here. For all of you so-called Jews who often talks about anti-Semitism, right? And always talking about the Holocaust in Germany. Listen to what this says right here. Because we're reading this article, and I want you to listen to what the definition says, and it's relating to what you are committing and what you are doing in Palestine. Okay? Similar, disaster, calamity, cataclysm, crisis, Holocaust, ruination. So when we say that Israel is committing a genocide, a Holocaust. According to the definition, that is exactly what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. With the massive killing of children, women, and elderly, what is that? That's not no Sunday drive on the beach. All right? And then one has to say, now take Israel out the picture and flip it and reverse it. If Palestine was doing that to Israel, what would be the outcry in the West and in the Western press? See, hypocrisy, racism. All right, you see what's going on? All right, so the article says, amid a humanitarian catastrophe unfolding in Palestine that no international organization can cope with, locals tell their stories of survival. Now, I want you to see this. Since October 7th, October, which is November, December, we're in January. We're not even at the 3-month mark, okay? And it's very important that we bring this issue up. Since October 7th, 2023, an estimated, listen to this good, 22,000 Palestinians have lost their lives amid Israel's shelling of Gaza. Most were civilians. Most were civilians. Let me say that again. Most were civilians. If that is not ethnic cleansing, if that is not genocide, then tell me what is. Why is it genocide if it happens to people in Israel? Why isn't it genocide when it happens in Africa? Why isn't it genocide when it happened to the Indians in Latin America who are trying to preserve the rainforest and preserve the Amazon? Why isn't it genocide as it happens to Palestinians? And then we look over into Ukraine. It's a genocide in Ukraine, but not a genocide that we can put on the back of Russia. It's a genocide that we put on the back of America, Israel, and NATO, because they're the ones arming, training, and funding this war. And Russia is being forced into this confrontation. So the deaths are in the blood of those people are on the back of America, Israel, and NATO. So we have a genocide there too. When over 500,000 people have been killed, over 1 million people are injured or unable to go back to battle. That's a genocide. But it's not a genocide that can be pinned on Russia. It's a genocide that can be pinned on the people who infuse the government and the military and the population with this nationalistic idea of Nazism, and trained and armed them and abetted them and gave them political cover and financed them. The genocide is not on Russia. It is on those who committed the heinous acts of indoctrinating the people with those ideas that are in Ukraine, funding, training, and giving political cover to them, and then giving them the okay to wage war. So those are genocides. Oh, you thought I wasn't going to say that that's a genocide because those are white people? That's a genocide. A genocide is a genocide. You can be polka dot for all I care. You understand? So I'm telling you, I'm built different. So it says, as the conflict nears the end of its 3rd month, the humanitarian situation in the enclave is deteriorating. The vast majority of residents lack food, water, and basic medications. Now, we know that the United States and Israel are blocking it. I don't know if you all remember, I had debate with Martin Saif, and he was telling me that Israel doesn't control Gaza. And I was telling him they control every aspect of Gaza. They supply most of the power. They supply the heating oil. They control the border around Gaza. They control the Rafah the crossing into Egypt. They control the water on the coast of Gaza. Right? Now, knowing this and the facts have been presented that exonerate and then elevate what I have been saying to you all, knowing that on the back of this sentence, the vast majority of residents lack food, water, and basic medication. And we heard Netanyahu and his group saying that they will prevent that from coming in. So that's not terrorism. That's not ethnic cleansing. Those are not crimes against humanity and war crimes. Because remember, this is a war. And those are crimes that are being committed by the government of Israel. Huh? Remember that. I'm just asking. I want you to remember those things. All right? So let's go here further. My phone is going off, but it's going to have to go off because I got to get to these points. Okay? And I knew it was going to do that when I put it on the charger. It says, last October 7th, mobs of Palestinian, listen what it says. Last October 7th, mobs of Palestinian militants stormed Israel's southern community, massacring an estimated 1,200 and leaving over 5,000 wounded. In response, Israel opened a war on Gaza. Now remember, this is RT, Russia Today. And I tell you, sometimes they're more pro-West than the West. So listen to what that article says. Because if you listen to that paragraph there, it gives a justification for Israel's moves against Palestine. It says, last October 7th, mobs of Palestinian militants. First of all, that in itself sends a delegitimization of the movement of what Hamas was doing. Nobody talked about October 6th, October 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, in the months and years prior to that, about the kidnapping of children, women, and men who are being held in prisons without due process, who are being tortured by the occupiers. Nobody mentioned the daily embarrassment of the people who have to get to work or try to make a living, and they're being shelled with rubber bullets and being harassed and brutalized by the police force. Nobody mentions the lead up to October 7th. And remember that in multiple UN resolutions, for peace to be had, Israel must withdraw from all lands acquired through war. That would mean the Negev Desert, the area that the Hamas went into, right? The Negev Desert, when they left Gaza, they were supposed to remove themselves from the Negev Desert, right? They never did. Have they removed themselves from the Sheba Farms? What about the Golan Heights? So the UN specifies that if these things are not done, things can explode. It didn't explode like it was supposed to back then. But the buildup, pressure will burst a pipe. And so we talk about October 7th, but not 6th, not 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. And then to label Hamas, which you know are the legitimate representatives of the Palestinians in Gaza, they won the elections. So they're not just mobs and militants. That delegitimizes their standing. They are the elected representatives that has a military wing to them to defend the people in Gaza. But to say mobs of Palestinian militants stormed Israel's southern communities is to rewrite history and to say that up is down and down is up. Because guess what? Those southern communities are on occupied territory. So how can the Palestinians be the cause of this when you have occupiers on the land of the Palestinians who were trying to get back to their land? I'm asking. But the way this is written up, you just take it. Most people will read it and just keep going. See, that's what they do. They drop this stuff and they program you over and over again with little drops like this without you stepping back and analyzing. And then they go on to say, massacring an estimated 1,200 and leaving over 5,000 wounded. That is an outright lie. And RT is lying when they put that in there. That's an outright lie. First of all, let's go to the dictionary real quick. Right here. According to the dictionary, the word massacre is a noun. It says an indiscriminate and brutal slaughter of people. Similar, slaughter, wholesale slaughter, mass slaughter, wholesale killing, slaughter, butcher, murder, kill, annihilate, exterminate, execute. That is an outright lie, according to the definition. So let's see what's this. And I was going somewhere else, but we got to clear up these lies. We've got to, along the way. We've got to do that. And if you see light shining, the blinds are open, and it's reflecting on the mirror and on the lights back here, okay? So look past that, okay? Excuse me. So, massacre. Let's go back to what Archie says, because they're not above reproach either. I told you, anybody can get it. Anybody. Any news organization can get it. I'm going to hit them with it, and I don't play favoritism. So look at what it says. Massacring an estimated 1,200. Well, we have video proof, we have evidence, and we've even had some Israeli officials said that they, after denying it at first and saying that this was caused by Hamas, they were the ones who were doing the indiscriminate shooting. They were the ones killing their own citizens. They were firing wildly. So you can't put that back on the back of Hamas, because Hamas had a strategic goal. And they were meeting their strategic goal. Now, let's look at the 1,200. Let's just give legitimacy and say Hamas killed 1,200 Israelis. Right? According to this, it makes it seem like the ones they killed were innocent. In war, the military is a target, right? In Israel, most of those areas that Hamas attacked were reservists or active duty military. When Hamas let loose the children and the elderly, the people said they didn't hurt us, they didn't disrespect us. So now if you have pictorial and video evidence of this, why would RT put that in there when Israel itself says that they were indiscriminately shooting? Why would you put that in there when you know that those people, most of them were active duty or reserve? They are military. Huh? I'm asking. I have to. And hold on one second, everybody. Just give me 1 second. I hate when this happens when I'm live and I'm trying to do something. Hold on 1 second, okay? Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, everybody. I don't know who that is. 2 calls from this number. I'll have to call that number back shortly. Yeah, everybody, I'm back. And my chair is squeaking, so you gotta forgive me for that also. My kids play in my chair and spin it around, and I don't know, they call it ring around the chair or something like this. I have to deal with it. But that's family life. Anyway, it says in response, this is what it says. See, key words here. Man, I was gonna talk about a few other things. Maybe I'll get it on the second end of the next video that's coming out in a few days. Let's see. They said in response to, listen to this, in response, man, I'm telling you, these people. Whew. In response, Israel opened a war on Gaza aimed at crushing Hamas, the Islamic group responsible for the deadly attack. Now, it says in response. The meaning of response, according to the dictionary, response is a noun. It is a verbal or written answer. A written